Hello everybody. In today's video, you are going to learn how to install Python and how to work fluently with Python. So Python, I have made a lot of projects and now I strongly believe that every one of you can learn it. In today's video, I will let you know how to install the latest version of Python, which is a dynamically programming language and which is actually famous for general purpose scripting. Now, in this video, you will learn how to install Python. So for installation purpose, we will start writing Python here in the Google. And from here, you can go to welcome to python.org, or you can also see that there is the downloads. You can click any one of them. And you can see here, you can download the latest version for Windows, which is here. Here, there is Linux, macOS, if you're using MacBook, and if you are using Windows. So this is the latest because it has detected by itself, which is download latest Python for the Windows. So once you click here, you can install Python. If you wanted to download the previous version of Python, then you can go on here the Python version, which is 3.13, 3.12, 3.11, 3.10, 3.9, 3.8, and so on. So you can download different release of the Python at different times. So you can see here is the list of the release, which is, if you need an older version, which is starting from 3.36, 3.2.7, 3.6, and so on. So any version which you need, you can install that, which is starting from 2.0.1. So you can click on the download Python here, and this is the latest Python, which will start download. And once it is complete, you will just have to click on it and it will get installed. Now we are going to move towards an IDE, which is actually uh, PyCharm, which is one of the best IDEs which you can use, which have multiple interfaces and open browsing. You have many other good features. I will tell you about the features when we are going to use it. So the first thing which I will have to tell you here that we will just have to install the PyCharm. Python is already installed, which is a programming language, and the code which we are going to write in the Python, our code will be written in the Python, and this IDE will make things easy for us. For example, we will write two or three characters for different names, functions, and it will make easier our task. It will make our programming easier. So I recommend you that you follow the complete video and don't skip it. So you can download here, and once you click download, you can see that here your download exe file. So once you click on it, you can have professional version, and there is one Python community version which is free for Python development community edition. So you can download this community edition, or you can download this professional development. So we can click here and our download will be started. So it is started. Sorry. Once it is started, then you have installed PyCharm on your computer, and you have already installed Python. You have already installed uh, PyCharm, which is an IDE. So uh, once the installer is downloaded, what you have to do, you will just have to click on this. Actually, it is uh, recent download history. So PyCharm Community Edition 2023, which is going to get download here. So you can install it in the Windows and in the MacBook and so on. Once it is installed, we can go to the start light and star, and we can see here that our PyCharm is downloaded. It's open now. You can see that this is our pie chart, which is actually we are going to Open a new project. Okay. Now we have installed PyCharm. Uh, we have PyCharm. So what we can do actually uh, in PyCharm, we are going to click on our file. Here we have new project, new scratch file, and there are many other things. When you will become familiar with it in the next stages of video, I will let you know about everything. So once we click on file, we can open a new project. So once we open a new project, you can see here we can create a new project, right? Once we create a new project, you can say that we can see here Python interpreter, which is our interpreter 3.9, and you can just click on this and then you can click create on it. And if you wanted to change the location from here for your project, you can change it. If you wanted to go new environment, you can create new environment and so on. But anyhow, in any case, we will learn these things at the later stage. But now you will have to become familiar with your uh, initial setup. So here's the Python project. You can see here that we can create it, and if you can create this window or new window and so on, so your project will be created. So our Python project 1 2 is created, right? So what we can do here now, once it is collecting our information, it will create the new project for us in this window. And this is actually creating conda environment. So you can see here that now this is our Python project. So you can open from here a new scratch file, for example, and you start here. This is the new scratch file, which is, you have here different extensions. So we are using Python. So we click on Python and we have a new scratch file for Python. Okay. So what we are going to do here, we can just have some information in this file that this is a Python file and so on. So from here, for example, you can write different functions and you can make some different functions and codes here. So the first thing which I'm going to tell you is that what is we are going to print function. So in print, you first write hello world, and then once we run it, you see that uh, this is printed hello world. So congratulations, this is your first program which you have write. So you will have to remember it that this is your first program. So now next, what I'm going to tell you about different things. I am going to tell you uh, about the programming. For example, once we are going to write some program, such as once we have a big program, then of course, once we are writing, we have to remember many things and we have to recall many things. But once we are writing the program, we have some important things which we need to mention inside our code, but that is in the general English language. So these are called the comments actually. So we can have some comments to recall at later stage once we are reading the code or someone else is reading our code. So we will have to mention some comments in our code so that someone reading our code, or at later stage if we are reading our code, we should memorize or we should recall that what was the actual thing which we were going to do here or at that point. Because programming language, it when the program will become much bigger, it will become somehow complex. You can just comment some things like you will have to click on this number button and this is comments. Now this is the comment which will not be read in the program code when you are going to run the code. So it will give you actual value, such as we are going to run this program now. For example, if we run it, you see here that it is saying this is invalid syntax. So because this is not in the programming language, so once we comment this, we have now commented, and then you run, then you see it gave you the hello world. It is printed your program. So we can write some English language words in the form of our comments, and then we have to click the button number symbol, it will be comment. So which means that uh, it will not be the part of program. So now what we are going to do, that we can have some other understanding of the basic concepts, that how the variables work in the programming language. So this is actually now a variable, but you remember that we will have to comment this. So now we have commented, right? So in any case, here you can go into the this part where you can click the control button, and then if you want to zoom it, you can zoom it. You press the control button and just move your mouse, and it will be zoomed in and zoom out for you. So here you see that we are going to print, we are going to paste. So I have pasted control C, control V, but how we can duplicate it? We can also press control D. When we are going to print control D, it is going to replicate our lines, right? So if I select these two, control C, and the one way is I write control V. Another way, what is the other way? Actually, I just write here control D. So once I click the control D, it will be replicated, it will be double, right? So yeah, I type, hello world C and then control V. Okay. So this is actually, we have a lot of print. So now we want to comment them all. So what we do, we have to just press control and forward slash symbol, and they will be, all of these will be commented during your program. In some cases, you have a lot of comments, or you wanted to comment a bunch of lines in the pie chart, you have a lot of lines and you wanted to comment them, then what you have to do, you will just have to press control and then you press forward slash. It is uncommented, just select them and then press control and then press forward slash, and it will be uncommented. So this is the way how you will uh, have to comment out a number of lines. So now the pie chart is going to make the things easier for us, that we can select the chunk of the code, and then we will have to select or unselect, comment or uncomment all of these multiple lines. So this is the advantage of this IDE, which I have told to you, that we are going to use IDE, which will give us a lot of benefits. So for example, we are going to write a lot of things, and we can use three lines comments. So what is this, that we can have just click three dots here, and whatever you are going to write inside these, for example, you have write everything here. This is your chunk of code, which is uh, commented now in all of these three lines. This is also a way to comment a large text inside the uh, PyCharm IDE. So here are some variables in the Python language. We can also, have comment. We can comment it in Python, and so we can bring it inside here, which is also another way to comment. So this is also, now comment. So you can select all of this from here. So you see here, this is everything which is commented. So now we are going to understand that how the variables work, right? So what are the variables? Actually, we are going to understand now that how variables work. Variables are just like, you can say that the containers right? In which we uh, store the data. For example, you have a box container. In the box or container, what you can do, you can put anything. Similarly, you can consider that your variable is a container in which you can put anything. For example, we say a is equal to 10. So what we do actually, we can print this variable, which is a. So what you can learn from here, so you can print it. So hello world, this is also print with it. uh, for example, we comment it, then we have as equal to 10 print a. So what we do, so this is 10. So now what is in this container, it container, this is a container and it has a value 10. So if we say this is equal to 20, so you can see that it is 20. So you can see here that it has given you a specific value for this variable. Similarly, you can have another variable y. For example, y is a variable and its value is 2. So once you print, you have to change it here 2. So once you print, it will give you the value 2. And similarly, we can say that y is equal to, for example, 2.3. And if you wanted to print it, let's see what happened. Print y, which is a floating point actually, 2.3, which is a floating point. Let's see what happened once we print it. It's 2.3. So this is printed. In Python, you have multiple type of data types. This is integer. This is a floating point number for you. And now we can have z is equal to true. And or we can say that if we print, see what happened. You see that once we print it, so it says that name c is not defined. So first you will have to define the c. C is equal to 2. So let's see what happened. So it tells you that it is 2. So it print c for you. So you can also similarly have, uh, you can write here false also, and so on. So these are, Boolean variables, because you have an understanding about this now. Y is 2, y is equal to 2.3, which is a floating point. This is integer. So now this is the Boolean variable, and so on. So what we can do here now, we can have, uh, have an understanding of different variables. For example, we say that d is equal to Khan. And what happened that we say that print d. So now, because this is a general English language number, so there is a red line. So it is saying that there is something wrong with it. Okay. So once we say print, because there's an error, so you see, once you run it, it will say that this is not defined. So what we can do here now, in this case, we can put it in the double quote, which has become a string now, right? So you can save some reports or some names like this in the form of strings. So you see here that what we have done, yeah, you see there's Khan. So you can see that it has printed d. So now the value of uh, d, which is in the double quotes, it has appeared or it has printed. So this is actually the overall, overview of data types. So what other what other data types are there? So you see, are there other data types? So yes, we can have some other data types too. For example, we say that f is none. Or what you say. So f is none. For example, if I say, what is the name of this thing? And here you see, uh, you say that f is none. I have seen. So for example, if you say, my name is none. Okay. So none is going to make a data type which is none type data type, right? And you know, so this says you that this is non a data type, but what we have to do actually, we are going to print f. So now it will print because none is a data type in Python. So it will give us some results. Okay. Yeah. So it has given us some results for this data type. And we can have some other different data types. So in the next, few concepts is actually next is from data type. We are going to move from one data type to another data type. We understand it as a type casting. Okay. So for example, uh, I'm going to make g is equal to 10. Okay. And if I print g, if I print g, or if I print gb, we can try to print it, and we can print it. What you will see that you can have value of g. And if I, for example, say it in terms of double quotes, okay, so you see here that it is giving us the value for the string. And similarly, if we, type something like, we are going to have some value inside this print, we can have, for example, 10 plus 1. And then let's see what happened, because you see here it is going to give you an error. So it will print like in the form of an error which says that this is syntax error. So for example, now you move to gb plus 1. So let's see what happened. Here you see that it has told you that this is like print gb plus 1 for the typecasting. For example, if we have some value of gb is equal to 10, now how to conveniently print? We have print int gb and plus 1. Okay. And we say that we are going to convert gb into an integer, right? Once we have, before this, you see that we have added 1 in 10, and it said that we can't add a number in the string. Now we have converted it into an integer, and then we are going to add a number in 1. If I say that there's a string, for example, here we can add 3, 4, 5. It's not logical actually. Okay, so Python don't understand it. So for example, here we have this string. We are going to make it into an integer, and then we are going to add one number in it. So then what will happen actually, we are going to give a concept to the Python that you can make it an integer. Okay, so we are going to, having one integer gb and plus 1. So we have converted this number into an integer first, and then we have added 1. So this is called typecasting, which is actually easily workable in the Python, because Python understand the concept which you are going to give it. So uh, from here you have seen that what we have done actually. Here from you can run this file and so on. So first you see that what we have done actually, we have made the typecasting concept, we have understand how the typecasting work and so on, the variables in this kind of concept. So now what we are going to do actually, uh, for example, we are going to make the things somehow simplified. We open a new file. From here we can click for the new and the new scratch file and so on, or from here we can take a start from the main file. In this there is a lot of data. You can just select this data and this is comment, or you can make a new file from here. So we are going to make a new scratch file for the Python. You can also right click here and you can have a new file from here. Like you come here, you just click right click, new, then Python file, and then this is a Python file. Actually you click on it, you can give it a name. We can say that this is the Python file for uh, class, or we can say this is the Python file Khan, and this is our Python file. Once we click here, double click, it is open up. Here we can type some numbers. Number is equal to 1, number is equal to 20, and this is, we can say this is number 1, this is number 2, and here you see that we have some variables which is num1 which is equal to 1 and num2 which is equal to 20. And now what we are going to do here actually, first we are going to understand the rules for giving names to variables, such as how to give the names to the variables. So from here you can understand that how we are going to give, for example, if I add space 1, it's not going to work for us. So your variables cannot start with number, there should not be space in it, and so on. Such as we started 3 num, so it's also invalid, and it cannot start from numbers, right? We cannot use it. You cannot use this number here, dollar sign. We can't use these special characters. Yeah, so this is actually a simple way to give the name to the variables, which is a simple concept. You should not start it with a special character. Don't start it with like you can start it with underscore, but not other special characters, and you cannot give the space in between and so on. So this is the basic concept which is important to understand for giving the names to the variables. Well, now how do the operators work? Which are actually arithmetic operators, right? So what are the arithmetic operators? You can understand the arithmetic operators from here, that how these things are working. We are going to print our numbers, for example, which we have typed above. This is num1, okay, and plus num2, okay, and we say this is num1 plus num2, right? So we just print a copy paste it, okay, or you can just select it to we can print it to the multiple lines. Just select it, print, press Control D, and then it will come down. So I have already told you that once you press it, it is going to work like for when you are going to duplicate. So Control D, it will duplicate it for you. Now what we have done here, we have duplicated this statement 4 times. So this is plus, so here we just type minus, here we type multiply, and here we are going to divide. So these are the arithmetic operators. You understand from arithmetic operations, which are the multiplication operations. You include plus, minus, multiply, division. So you can understand how these operations are going to work uh, for these numbers. So now what I'm going to run this program now. Okay, once I have run, you see what has happened. So it has run num1, num2, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on. So you have just right click and run Khan. So it, or you can just click it from here, or you can run it from here. You have seen, the results for these four arithmetic operations which we have performed here, which is very convenient when you are going to work on the big projects. Then you can, have multiple arithmetic operators, and these operators can work in the form of these print functions. So num1 is, you know, you can just physically check it. This is 21, so you can say plus num1 1, and 20, this is 21. So you see your first answer is the operation 21. Similarly, the second operation is minus, so this is minus 20, and the third operation is actually 20. So and this is 0.05. So first, for example, we said this is 10. Now we have changed the number. Now see, our results have changed. Okay, for example, if we say this is 100, so what happened? You see our results change. So with a single click you have, you know uh, checked all the values. So what is the other thing that we are going to have? For example, the operation of the double click, double star, or the double slash. So in case we can have some values, for example, we have a reminder, and we can just use double operators for double multiplication is here. For example, this operator double, this is, so you can see here it is now going to give you up to the, number 1 plus number 2. This is multiplied, and this is giving you number 1 plus number 2 is 5, and so number, anyhow, in any case, this is actually the thing which we are going to discuss in the next few lectures also. And this is the simple concept for the assignment operators. So for example, we have here a value a equal to 5. So we say print a. What happened here? You know what will happen here? It will show us, we just comment this, it will give us, so it give you 5. You have, so for example, here you can say if you have a is equal to a is equal to 2. Okay, we have here a value a is equal to 2, a is equal to 2, and a is equal to 5. So a is equal to, here we type your minus, a minus is equal to 2. So now what you see, that this is 3 actually. So it has, 5, a is minus is equal to 2, it gives you the value 3. So if I change this value, I said 3, so it will change the value, right? Because it consider this single value. So right, so this consider this the single value after the operation, like 5 minus 3, this is a, this is a, so 5 minus 3 is actually 2, so it's giving you the value 2. So in next operations, we can see there are some, just we commented before we move on. We are going to move on the comparison operators. So what are the comparison operators? Okay, In comparison operator, as it is represented from the name, we are going to compare two values. So once we compare two values, it is actually is the main job of these operators, right? So comparison operator, what do? They compare two values. For example, we have a variable x which is equal to 8, 18, and we have a variable y which is equal to 20. So, and I print print x is less than. Where is the less than? Actually, we are going to print here this statement x is greater than y, for example, we say, and then we print it. Let's see what happened. So it said it's false, right? So you have seen this is giving you false. So we have studied it here, that these are actually uh, these are the Boolean operators, right, which we have studied before in our previous lecture. That what yeah, here false and true, it's giving us the Boolean operators. So x is greater than y, it is false. If I say now x is less than y, let's see what happened. Now it's going to tell, yeah, it's true. Okay, so this is actually the comparison of the operators. Now you can see that the output for the comparison operators is here. Okay, you have seen it is true, Boolean operator. So, well, next, what we want to know, for example, next, if we wanted to know that it is not equal to y, so then what is the condition? If it is not equal to y, we see here it is not equal to y. So this is the method to type not. You just put a sign of exclamation and then equal to. So this represents not equal to, right? So we see here if this is not equal to y, we print and then we see what happened. So this say, yeah, it is true, it is not equal to y. So you can understand that 18 is not equal to 20. So this is, if we say both are 18, then you see, right? I am having another variable z, which is equal to 23. Okay. Now I print x is equal to equal to z, and let's see what happened. This is a no, this is false. Okay. So why I have type here double equal to, because we have changed the convention to show equal to for the comparison operators. So when you are going to use double equal to, it is, a convention which is made by the Python engineers. You can say that all the comparison operators, right? You can ask here that why it is not the single equal, because single equal also show it, but when we are going to have the comparison operators, then we have to use the double equal to. In general, you can use equal to. So these operators will be used a lot when you are going to use if statements or else statements. So you will find there that we will use, these operators there, and you will find a very much good use of these comparison operators in those statements. if and else. Now we are going to move to the logical operators, right? So what are the logical operators? Now everything like it gives you a logic. There's a logical operator. So for example, now if we type here that print x is equal to z, and what else we type, and y is greater than x. Now we have write this statement. So what is this now actually? Do you know? X is equal to z? No, it is not. And y is greater than x. Y is greater than x. Yeah, it is greater. So from both of these, one thing is true and one is false. So it is considered as a false because one is true and another is false. This is actually the logical operation, that one is true, one is false. For example, x is equal to z. We see here x equal to z. It's 23, it's 18, so they are not equal. Y is greater than x, y is 20, and x is 18, so y is greater than x. This is true. But in an overall, if we say, is it true? We say no, it is not true. It is 50-50. So what will be our output? Our output will be false, right? Our output is false because this is, not 100% true. This is not 100% true, not 100% correct info. I mean, the info is correct, but this statement actually is giving us a value which is actually not 100% correct. One is true, one is false, so we consider it as a false. From we, I mean Python. And similarly, we can say that if we type this like from C control E, you can read, we have used, and now we can say that, or I mean, now here you see that we say that if x is equal to z, or y is greater than, now we say that either this is correct or this is correct. So in this case, you can see that, for example, we have print this. So this is true because we say whether it is true or it is false. So one of them is correct, it is correct. So it is true. Either this is or this is. So you can understand that it's 100% correct because one is true out of both of these. So you see here our statement output result is true. And for example, if I say that print false, or we can type here that print not of false. So not of false. So when we say that we print not of false, or we say print not of true, so what will happen? You can write not of like this, right? Or you can similarly write not of true. You can copy it and then you can paste it from here. And this is not of false print. This is not of true. Okay. So in this way, we can reverse the order with not operator. We can make it like true is false, false is true. So this is the logic in which, for example, if we say that we have not hit someone, you have to continue. If we say we don't hit, you don't need to continue. So specifically, we use these logical operators to just understand that how the things are going to work. So you can see here results. Next, we are going to have some overview of the bitwise operators. Bitwise operators, which are a bit bitwise, a bit advanced actually. Okay, so from here you have studied these operators in your uh, fundamental languages, programming concepts or basic courses. So you can understand that how these operators work, which are actually the bitwise operators. So we are going to the detail. If you are interested in bitwise operators in Python, you can have a basic concept of these bitwise operators in Python here, where you can see that bitwise and, bitwise not, and other operators. So these are bitwise operator look virtually the same across different programming languages. So you have, if you have an experience of C, C++, and other programming languages, Java, so you must have a better idea on these because these are very fundamental concepts. So you can also go into detail from there. So this is what we have uh, actually an overview in this slide. So what we are going to do now next, actually, you can go to some understanding of the PyCharm and virtual environments, right? For example, if you are going to work on some packages in Python, so okay, Python packages, you can install packages in the Python. You can get some guideline from here using pip for installations, right? So installing from pip. How now the things are going to work? You can see here in this terminal below, you have here some, this is terminal. So from here, what we can do, we can just type pip install pandas. So this is collecting pandas, all right? And now this is going to install our packages. Now this is going to install the packages. So it is saying to me that could not install package due to environmental error, access denied, and warning on the pip version and variable. Anyhow, actually I am using this PyCharm not as an administrator, so you can run it as an administrator, and then you can install your packages here in this terminal, right? So what we can do here, that we can just type pip install. Now by just pip install and name of package, and it will start installation for your package, right? And so on. So once the packages are installed, what you can do, actually, you can similarly come back to a new scratch file, for example, and we open a file and so on. So this is scratch file one. Now if you are going to use pandas, which is actually uh, for reading the data, for example, what we can do, what data file, we would have a data file, and what we do, we say this pandas dot read underscore excel file dot excel sx, right? And this is our Excel, and this is pandas. Actually, you see here that it is saying us that your pandas is not installed because this is red and there was an error. So we can go to PyCharm and then we install it as an administrator. Now you can see this is actually the way where I'm going to tell you that how you can use some packages for the. So you see here that pandas is not defined. So this is actually a way to import the Excel file. If you have an Excel file on your desktop, you can import that file using pandas, which is actually for the Excel files reading, and some other packages like NumPy, OpenCV, and so on. So there are many other packages which we can use for working on in the future with some reading some programming files and some other you know uh, this one. Now we are going to have a new scratch file. So this is our Python file, so we can directly go from here. We are going to have a Python file, so we have now Python file. Now what we have done here actually, I'm going to close the other functions at which I'm actually working right now. So now let's see here, we are going to have a this file is here. So from here you can see that we have a data file which is equal to pd dot read excel and file dot the extension of the file, right? So now you can read this file through uh, Python. You can read your file here in this way. You just have to give the file name and then just read and then the type of the file and so on. So this is the way to read the files. And here is the terminal actually. So here we can see that we have it install pandas. So once we click here, our pandas will be installed and then we can use it in this package actually. So and anyhow, we are going to use these packages in detail when we are going to have some practical project work, right? So when you are going to have some uh, writing, you are going to write some code in Python, you will just have to consider some important things, that you will just have to follow the rules for the indentation. Okay, so let's see what is the indentation in Python, right? So this is actually Python indentation is actually refers to the space at the beginning of the code line, right? So there is a specific space which is at the beginning of the code line. So you have to understand that what is this space now. In Python, normally we have an indentation uh, of the four spaces, right? So from every line, for example, we have to, you see here that there is some space before this. So anyhow, in any case, you can understand that this is actually the space before the beginning of the code line, right? When we are going to have some specific function, it should be in a specific range and in a specific order, which can be, you can see here different examples. You can understand some of the, you see here, this is the space, this is the space, this is the space. But when we are going to write some complex codes, you will of course understand that this how this work for us. Okay, so now we are going to make a string, for example, in the Python, which is in the double quotes, right? You see, this is a string, right? And if we print name, what will happen? It is print Khan, right? Let's see if it works for the single quotes. Yeah, it's working for the single quotes. So, right, you can see that we can have a string in double quotes and single quote. Now, let's see if you want to print the name in the form of characters 0, 2, which means we say take only 0 and 2 characters. 0 to 2 mean you should understand that we have 0, 1, 2, 3. There are 4 characters, so you will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, which means that you will always start counting from 0, not from 1, right? So you can see, this is character 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So you can say 0, 1, 2 or 0, 1, 2. These are the 3 characters actually, right? So your uh, print will have characters K, H, A, which means we have started from 0 and go to 2, which is 0, 1, 2. Okay, it will let us know that it will go from 0 to 2, and we can have some other examples also. Okay, it's going from 0 to KH. Now, for example, we say 3, it will go to A. Okay, here we start 1, 2, 3. Let's see what will happen. Okay, so 1 mean in this name you can see this is 0, this is 1, 1 is H, and 2, so this is A. So which shows that the concept is clear now. You can understand that we started from 0, we go to 2, and so on. Similarly, you can have some slice. So this was actually slicing. What we have done actually. Now we are going to move on the strings. So let's see what are the strings. You see here adding strings to variable, multi-line strings, and so on. Okay, you can also so you can have some string operators here also. You can have some string letters, lowercase, uppercase, digit, and so on. So for example, you see that you are going to use upper method. Here you have different methods, lower, upper, digit, and so on. So for example, here we try to type the print name dot upper. So you see here that Python is also going, IDE PyCharm is also going to help you, that it is going to let you know about these strings, that, right? So this is upper. So you just because you just have the print name dot, it is going to tell you that you have, right? So once you click on it, you can also have some other addition in it. But in any case, here we can use it upper. You just click print, you just print, and then name, and then when you enter dot, it is going to give you all the names, right? So you can see here that it is going to make many things easy for you. For example, we search and just type here upper. Okay, you see it is like this. So now you can also print name dot count. So what we say name dot count, we can count like how many times which digit is going to appear, right? For example, we can type here that count y or count x or count h. Okay, so it will let us know that in this name actually Khan, you say nam h is one time, so it is going to give you the count for the h. You can say a is going to give you the count for a. This is also one time. Okay, for example, we say z, it will say us there is no z, so count is 0 and so on. So in this you can see that uh, you have print the counts and so on. So you can have many other operations like just print name dot and then you will have these output operators, right? So here are some numbers strings, you can look have an overview on it. Okay, in this case we can also check that is there any number and is it a digit. For example, I just type print a number. Okay, and that number is a numeric string or not, you can just check it also. Okay, so you can check whether there is a name, whether the name is a number. You see that Khan, it is not a number, like it is not a numeric string. If you wanted to check it, you can check it, right? That is numeric. We can type your print and we can type print number. So we type is numeric. So you see, so the name number is not defined, right? You can see here that it is not a numeric number. So what we can say that print name and you can just enter print name dot function and then you can just try all of the functions that how they are going to work for you, because you will just have to, what you have to do, you just have to type the name and then just print. And yeah, it says it's false. Actually, what you can just check all the numbers, print name and then just enter dot and then you have a lot of, you can understand from here that what is the output for each of these functions. So this is, these are some of the methods for our string, uh, which are going to give some specific values for. Now we are going to understand, we are going to understand user input. Okay, for example, this one we are going to comment it. Now what is user input actually? Name is input and enter the number. You can say that number, we can say the name. Okay, this is the string actually. Like, okay, right, enter the name. We change the name. Once we change the name, give us the name. Okay, now we can type another program. Input. Okay, we are going to write in the program to take a number as a input, right? So what we will do, we say, we just now have to write a program. So we say the number is equal to input. Okay, enter a number, right? So now what happened? For this we have print num, which is the number, plus 5. Okay, it is simple. Once you write it, once you run it now, you see what is going to happen. We have explained it before. Okay, enter number. So uh, it's going to give a number. We say 5. So this is giving us an error. So what happened? That you will just have to check it, that what is the type of your function. So now this is actually somehow the thing which we have discussed earlier about the typecasting. Okay, so once we are going to have the number, then we can understand what is print type. You can understand what is the type of the number. So now the type gave you the concept of number. Okay, so from here what will happen? It will happen, will give you the type of the number, right? Now computer don't understand what is going to happen here. You will just have to give it a number. We just do typecasting print int into the number, and then we are going to do add a number in it, right? Okay, this is your number. Okay, and what is going to happen here, that you'll just have to enter the number now from here, right? This is one of the most important thing about the typecasting, which we have studied before, that your number should be, typecasted before you enter it. So now you see here that it said to you that print number plus 5 can only concatenate string, not integer. So this is the error which is due to the typecasting. So first you will have to typecast your number. You will just have to convert the number into the integer, right? Because we are having a number which is input, enter the number, and next we have print the type of the number. So in this way you can check the type of the number, that what is the type of your number, right? And then you can have print integer and number, and then you can enter some uh, number into that integer actually. So what is actually, you just have to, for example, you can add print integer. This is actually the number which we have converted to integer, and then we add 6 in it. Okay, so similarly, once you enter some number in this, you can have some specific value for that number, and then it will give you the value answer, which is 11, right? Because we have converted it into an integer. So now every time you run the program, you can add some value and it will give you some number. And similarly, we can have some other person name. For example, we have Ali, which is equal to 2. We have Yamin, which is equal to 4. and we have Nasir, which is equal to 10. We have some names, and then what we can say that we have given these names some numbers, right? Now, what we are going to do, we can have, so we can say that we have B1, which is equal to uh, Ali, okay? And similarly, we can have B2 is equal to Ali. We can have B3 is equal to Ali. And once we wanted to print B1, B2, B3, see what happened. So let's we comment this program. Let's see, it's giving us 2 to 2, right? So B1, B2, B3, because Ali is 2, so it is giving print. We have given the name, same name to these three variables. Uh, okay, these are the valid strings, and for these valid strings, we have the value 2. If we wanted to make a multi-line string, then what we can do, for example, we have a very big paragraph, and then we can make a multi-line string for it actually. And by making multi-line string, what we can do actually, we have, for example, this one is added. So what we can do, we just enter this multi-line string. We can have some backslash, just we make it string, and then we add a back. This one, okay, and so now you can convert it into a multi-line strings, right? So just add a backslash. Anyhow, in any case, if you have to write multi-line strings, then it's easy to write it in the Pythons, right? So in some cases, you can check through the basic help in the this IDE, which can also be obtained through some programs. Now we are going to move to the list.